It is all about a swim jig in the mid-range, which is bass that are relating to structure. It can be a contour change that has brush or grass or just rock or shell. And those bass are typically going to be your easier bass to pattern because they're not necessarily there for the brush or the shell, but it's that contour change that is attracting them. And you can typically run that all around your lake. So I want to go into the sizes of jigs that I'm throwing in all those different situations. Should help you out, save you some money. So anytime I'm in grass, it's going to be a 1/4 or 3/8 ounce swim jig. And I typically throw a jig that has a smaller hook. So this is a 4/0. This is a compact swim jig. This is going to be the swim jig I'm throwing in hydrilla, milfoil, eelgrass. And what I like about that smaller hook when I'm fishing structure with a swim jig is the fact that the bass can get it a little bit better in their mouth, and then my rod will load and I can set the hook. I'm not necessarily worried about a bass going in a tree like when I'm fishing it around shallow targets. I want that bass to have that bait down where it's going to hook them in the meat and I'm not going to lose them. It's different than when I'm fishing it around bank grass or heavy cover where I don't have a whole lot of time to wait. You know, I got to set the hook quick. This, I can give them a second to really get it down. Like when you're fishing a football head or something like that, let them get it, reel into them till the rod loads, and then pull. That's going to be your best option anytime you're fishing a jig around structure, not just a swim jig. But when I'm fishing just bare, rocky, you know, that flat that's next to the creek channel or the river channel, I like a 3/8 because I want that bait close to the bottom. So throw it out. If I'm fishing a flat on a deep spot, I'm always going to be fishing the deep side, throw up to the flat, let it hit the bottom, then slowly wind it back. And that's going to, once it comes off the deep end out into the abyss, reel it back. You're not probably going to get bit out there, but typically right on that contour change, right on that break is where those bass are going to be sitting. Most of the time, if you have a real cloudy day, rainy day or something, they may be pushed way up on the flat. Sometimes in the fall, they get crazy, but most of the time, they're going to be really relating to that break. Now, if I'm fishing this around brush, it all depends on how deep the brush pile is. So if I'm fishing a brush pile out in 15 feet of water, I might have to go up to like a 3/4 or a 5/8 ounce jig. If it's shallow brush, I like that 3/8, 5/16 size because I want to be able to feel that jig when I'm making contact with that brush. Typically, you want to hit the brush pile. It is a really good brush pile bait. I think often overlooked on that as well, but a really good brush pile bait is a swim jig. So water clarity, I think, is fairly important. You want to have at least about 1.5 feet to do this. You know, most mid-range lakes where bass are going to get out in that like 4 to 8 foot range. They're not just on shallow targets. They're out relating to structure. You need a little bit of water clarity, but it's not a gin clear, ultra clear type water clarity. As long as you have about 1.5 feet, tannic colored lakes that have that greenish stain, this is typically where this plays. So you may not have current always. If you do, that's going to be current seams on the days where they're pulling a lot of water through the system. And on days when you're not pulling a whole lot of water, they're just going to kind of roam around those hard spots. Grass lakes, really great for this, and you can pattern those fish within the pattern. Are they on the points? Are they in the drains, the tops, the bottom? 1/4 or 3/8 should cover all those for that. So try that, guys. Good luck to you, and I'll see you on the water.